All right, everybody. So we have the N300 5G from Metro by T-Mobile. We're about to unbox this. Stay tuned. All right, everyone. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We have the N300 5G from Metro by T-Mobile. Just picked this up today and open a new number. And if you guys open a new number, this device is $39.99. If you guys actually port in a number from another carrier that's not connected to T-Mobile or Metro by T-Mobile, you guys are actually going to get this phone 100% free. And if you guys just buy this outright, the retail price on this is $229.99. So there are two different variants of this phone, and I know you guys are going to ask that question already. So the T-Mobile, the regular T-Mobile variant is going to have 6 gigabytes of RAM, and the Metro by T-Mobile variant is going to have 4 gigabytes of RAM. So that is the biggest difference that we're going to see from the T-Mobile variant to Metro by T-Mobile. I believe everything else is the same, however. So that's pretty much it. Now, as far as the space inside of here, we're going to have 64 gigabytes of internal storage, but we actually do get to expand our memory up to 1 terabyte. So that's absolutely perfect. 64 gigabytes would be a little bit low, but I'm very grateful that we can expand that memory. That's actually really, really good that it goes up to 1 terabyte. Obviously, I said 4 gigabytes of RAM as well, and we're going to have Android 12 on this device out of the box. I'm sure we're going to get the update to Android 13, but I'll definitely keep you updated on that later on. This is going to run a skinned version of Android. It is going to be Oxygen OS, and I actually do really like Oxygen OS. I kind of like that skin. It's a really refreshing feel. I feel like it's a little bit like Huawei's UI, honestly, but let me know what you guys think. As far as the chipset inside of here, we are going to have a MediaTek Dimensity 810, and honestly I don't think that's really a bad processor at all. We're gonna put it through the ringer with these games and all that other stuff, obviously day-to-day use and stuff, so we're gonna go through that and we're gonna see how that actually is, because people say negative things and they've never used an 810 before. So we're gonna see how that actually plays out in real world use. We also have a display that's 720p, so no 1080, but it does have a 90 hertz refresh rate, and the build is going to be a glass front, plastic frame, and plastic back. But let's go ahead and unbox this. Okay, and as you guys already know, I'm going to put this up against the last year's N200 5G, so do not worry. First thing that we have on top right here is this little booklet case. Let's go ahead and open that up. And this is going to host our welcome start guide and obviously terms and conditions and other warranty information in English and in Spanish as well. And of course, the little SIM card ejector tool. We have our beautiful phone right here. This looks really, really good. We're going to take a look at this in a second a little bit more, but this color on this device is called Midnight Jade, and I believe this is the only color that you guys are going to get. As for right now, they may update the colors and give you other colors later on, but this is the only variant we have thus far. Next, we actually do have a charger inside the box, which is beautiful. Thank you, OnePlus, for actually doing this. This is really cool. And not just a charger, but we actually do have a 33 watt Super Vogue charger inside of this. So very, very nice to see that inside of here. And obviously we have our data cable as well right here, and it's going to come in that signature white and red that OnePlus is known for. But great that we have a fast charger in here and data cable. Beautiful stuff right here, and that is going to be paired inside of the phone with our 5,000 milliamp battery in here, so quite a sizable battery. All right, guys, so this is the phone in all of its glory. It looks like a sandstone back, but it's not. There's actually no texture at all, and you can still leave little bits of fingerprints if your hands are wet and stuff, so definitely take that into consideration. But as far as the color of this device, this is absolutely beautiful. It definitely looks like it is a mineral sandstone back. Now, obviously, we have our OnePlus logo right there, and we do have our dual camera setup right here. So our main camera is actually going to be our 48 megapixel PDAF camera, and that's going to be our wide angle camera. And our secondary is going to be a 2 megapixel depth camera. So we have dual cameras on this, and of course, the flash is going to be right there as well, and it's going to be capable of recording up to 1080p at 30 frames per second, and we do also have HDR with this. Now, as far as the fingerprint sensor, that is going to double as our power button, so we have the fingerprint sensor and a power button right there. I have not set that up yet. I will be setting that up in a second, and I'm going to be showing you how quick that actually is, because I want to be surprised with you guys as well, because it's brand new phone. Obviously, top of the phone we have a noise canceling mic. Left side of the phone we do have obviously our SIM tray right there, and we can actually expand our memory via micro SD card up to 1 TB, as I said before, utilizing the SIM slot. And just below that, we have our up and down volume rocker, which is beautiful. Love to see a space in between our volume buttons, especially in the nighttime. Definitely something that's a little bit more of a luxury. And of course, we have our speaker, and this is actually going to come with a dual speaker. So we're going to have a speaker inside of the headset as well as the bottom of the phone. So I've been hearing some pretty good stuff about this so far, so I'm kind of hyped about that, honestly. Middle, we have our charging port, we have our noise canceling mic, and of course we have our 3.5mm headphone jack. Super hyped about that. And this is how the phone looks right here. I love Oxygen OS. I love the skin that they put on Android. I think it's really refreshing, honestly. I think it's one of the nicer ones. The 90 hertz refresh rate seems to be on already, and it's honestly looks really good on a 720p display. I can't really tell the difference between this and a 1080p display. Obviously, we do have that camera right there and our headset up top that's going to double as our secondary speaker, but we have our front-facing camera, and it's going to be using that kind of outdated style of that teardrop notch, but I still think the phone in all looks really good. It doesn't feel insanely premium, but it doesn't feel stupid cheap either. I think they've been doing a really good job in these last few years with budget phones on making them feel pretty decent and in between that type of premium level. Now, as far as the single front-facing camera, it's going to be 16 megapixels, and this is actually going to be capable of wide angle as well as HDR. Going down to the drop down bar menu, obviously we have Wi-Fi, our mobile data, which is going to be 5G at Metro by T-Mobile using T-Mobile's towers. We have our auto rotate, which we're going to turn on. I don't know why that didn't turn on. We have location, we have eye comfort, screen recording, a native screen recorder in there, nearby share. We have our dark mode, which I turned on. That was the first thing I did on this phone. We have our screencast, our video enhancement, our NFC, OTG, power saving mode, and we actually do have some other stuff right here. We have our VPN, invert colors, we have our photo access, device controls. We can actually put cards in our wallet right there, so that's nice that we see that. I haven't seen that in too many budget phones, but as we are probably going to go in an economy that's going to be fully electronic, that's probably why they're starting to do that. As you guys see, we have work mode, we have life mode, we have zen mode, bedtime mode, focus mode, storage, and our keyboard settings right there. So everything looks really decent on this phone so far. I'm liking how it looks. I think the display looks beautiful as well. It honestly looks like a 1080p display. But we're going to check out some video on this. We're going to go into the camera right now and take a look at some of the features, and we're going to test out these speakers as well, and then we're going to call it a day. But let's go ahead and go through that. So on the camera right here, we're going to go ahead and take a little photo real quick. And I really like the camera on the N200 5G. I think it was actually pretty underrated. And this one is pretty decent as well. I think we get some really good detail on these photos. I think OnePlus has done a good job in the last few years on the cameras on their budget phone devices. So that doesn't look half bad. Obviously, we're going to go into depth later on as far as like low light photos and things of that nature. We also have our portrait mode, so that's great that we have that. And more, we have Pro Extra HD. I don't know what that is. We're going to go into that later. We have Pano, slow-mo. We have our time lapse. We have our video that we can go up to 1080p at 30 frames per second. And of course, we have our night mode, which is kind of like, you know, Google's night sight, which you can, you know, get better quality photos in lower light. So definitely going to check that out later on. But that is how we are looking so far. So we have our 4K video test up here, and if we go into settings, it lets us actually go all the way up to a downscaled 1440p, 60 frames per second. So we're gonna see how this looks. So colors look very vibrant on this. You're gonna have no issues with the colors or the brightness on this. This display does get pretty bright. We are gonna test it out in sunlight later, but the viewing angles on this as well, there is no spots to where, you know, it fades out how some other cheaper phones do. So this is a very solid display, as you guys can see. And for spending $39 when, you know, I opened a new line, that's a beautiful price for this phone. Even $229 is pretty decent as well though, but decent looking screen. Now we're going to test out the dual speakers that we have on this. So we have a speaker at the bottom and we actually have a speaker on the front as well. So we're going to go and test this out. Obviously, it's not going to give you a great representation of how it sounds, but we're still going to go ahead and do this. So speaker sounds pretty decent. I think it's actually comparable to like the Galaxy A53 5G. So it's actually pretty good. The crispness is good. I thought it was going to be a little bit more echoey or kind of tin can type of sound, but this actually sounds really decent, and it's great that we also get dual speakers, of course. And last but not least, this is of course going to be running Android version 12, as I said before. And for the RAM, we can actually go up to 3 GB of RAM for RAM expansion. Now this is going to be virtual RAM, and this will take effect after you restart it, as it says right here. So it pretty much boosts your performance on your device. So that's pretty cool. And I'm sure we're going to be getting an update to Android 13 as well, but that did just come out, so I wasn't thinking that they were going to put it on some budget phone like this, but we're probably going to be seeing that update pretty soon. But so far, I think this device is actually pretty decent. The N300 is looking like a pretty promising phone, and maybe something you guys want to look at, especially during this holiday season. They're probably gonna have some other Black Friday deals and all that good stuff, so I'll definitely keep you updated with all of the news coming from Metro by T-Mobile, and everywhere else. But I think this phone is pretty decent so far. Like the speakers, the screen looks decent, and it looks pretty solid for the price so far. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. We are going to do our pros and cons, our full review, and a ton of other tips and tricks and things like that on this phone. So if you guys want me to make any other video on this, let me know in the comment section down below. But this has been Safon from TechRight. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out, Tech Gang.